Financial services, the biggest thing to hit us since PayPal, so please pay attention. What we want to do is basically pitch an idea that's based on a very simple context. If you look at the situation 10 years ago, in 1999, when we started to go online, we might have had one account with Amazon, one with eBay, one email account, one bank, and that was basically it. Situation today in 2009 is you might have tens of retailers that you have to deal with. You might have hundreds of places where you store your personal information online, and it's getting chaotic. And who knows what it's going to be in 2019, where you might have thousands of places online where you have to store your information, put your personal details, and how complex and confusing is that going to be? So if I look at the context, there's an e-commerce explosion out there, and what we have is confidential information, our information, which is out there and which is actually unsafe. So what's the idea? Very simple. And we label the idea e-me. So it's me out there. It's e-me. And what is the idea? It's a digital safety deposit box where I can put my personal information. And you might have a deposit box at home where you store your jewelry or your confidential stuff. This is the digital safety deposit box where I store my personal details, my personal information. This could be your address, this could be your bank accounts, this could be your credit cards, but it's a place where you have drawers in your personal safety deposit box to put other stuff that are valuable digital, like a contract or a will if we're going to have to kill ourselves, as we heard. So it's a digital safety deposit box called e-me that is out there. And the beauty is, you only have to put your information there once, and all the retailers you work with, like an Amazon or a utility company, will be able to access your personal details in e-me, in your digital safety deposit box. And you will allow the Amazon or the telephone company to have access to which information, to which drawer that you actually want. So the concept is a digital safety deposit box. Now, what are the big pain points that we're trying to solve here? For the consumer, it's quite simple. They have a huge hassle nowadays days to actually update all their information with all the people that they deal with online. The after situation is the customer says one simple way to store information, and the corporate users can access the information. You only have to update this once. What is the pain with the banks? Well, the banks have had a difficult year. They've kind of lost the trust of their consumers a little bit. And this might be a way to regain. And more, the banks are getting disintermediated, and PayPal is a good example. And for the corporates, what is the big pain with the corporates is they have this complexity as well. And more, there is huge risks of cost and risk of non-payment. So what we have as gains, for the consumer it's quite simple. They have one way, one mechanism to update. And we have a very simple use case here. Just a simple way, you change your address. If you change your address today, and you have to update, with all these corporates out there, your personal detail, bank account, payment mechanism, if you have e-me, you have one change, and all the corporates will always use the most updated digital information. So, what are the gains for the consumer? They have peace of mind. What are the gains for the banks? The banks can actually offer this as a service to their customers and give them a new sense of loyalty with their customers. The banks can regain trust to actually offer this to their consumers. And what is the gain for the corporates? They can reduce their cost and risk. I would like to introduce David, who is our head of community relations with the banks, and give him his pitch on why this is great for the banks.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is lots of this for banks, including the provision of a trusted directory for payments. Using the unique e-me PayMe proxy, we are providing you with the ability to make payments B2C, C2C in a repair-free environment. So that's no repairs when you access the e-me directory.
Great, thank you. How can this make money? It's a transaction-based model. Every time a corporate wants to access your personal information, there's a micropayment from the corporate to e-me, and via the banks, this could eventually go to the consumer. So you, instead of having to update all your information, you as a consumer could actually get paid if a corporate uses your personal information. Now, who wouldn't like that? I want to see a show of hands. Who thinks this will be a if you could actually get paid if the corporates use your information. Who think that's a good idea? Great! We got the customer base. Solved that already, right? So, transaction-based model. What would it need to really take off? First of all, we need a community of banks who would be willing to actually jumpstart this and start offering to their customers. We would need a trusted, neutral third party to run and operate that. Now, can I think of a trusted, neutral third party? Well, Swift could actually do that. And we would need open standards. Can we get a community of banks together? I would like you to introduce Victor, who left his high-paying job at Swift to work for our startup. He's been living in the garage with us for the last week and say, how would I use the banks to do this?
Well, the banks need to provide the trust in the system, and banks have the trusted relationship with their customers.
Banks have the trusted relationship with their customers. They would be the distribution model for this. They would market it to their customers.
Okay, how complex would it be to build and operate? It would be relatively simple from a technology point of view. Our CTO is Mr. Nick Davis, who left his high-paying job at Lombard. How complex is this?
Easy.
Good. What would we need to do? How would we operate this? Failure is not an option. How would we market this? Zara.
Yes, we have three main points. First one, critical mass. Marketing strategy of emails to reach critical mass of users all around the world. Second point, social. We can help banks leverage the potential of social network by using Facebook, Twitter, and so on. And third point, communication about security and availability. On the one hand, bring IMI on banks' portals so that we can assure and guarantee security for our customers. And on the other hand, make IMI available at any time, anywhere, by putting it and developing special widgets and applications for mobiles.
Thank you. So, in conclusion, it's a very simple thing. First step would be information setup, just personal information out there in the vault. Second is we could use this for security. Jean-Philippe, very quickly, if we would add authentication to this, what would it mean for the ecosystem?
For e-commerce, it will mean the next step for the single sign-on.
Excellent. And in terms of value-added services, which is the third thing we want to do, and I would like to introduce Yuri, who's our head of research. Turn around, Yuri. Look at the ponytail. Look at this gentleman. What would be the ultimate future of value-added services?
Future service for IMI will be able to act as electronic proxy of customer, and will be able to give advices and answer questions on behalf of customers.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We have to close. Finally, this is very simple. This is $100K to develop a concept, $1 million for a proof of concept, a $10 million investment, and $1 billion opportunity, even in emerging markets.
Yeah, emerging markets could also mean going in areas where infrastructure is undeveloped, like Africa, a possibility to jumpstart and leapfrog.
Thank you very much. In conclusion, this is a wonderful opportunity for Swift. If Swift doesn't take it, we have to work with these greedy venture capitalist bastards. I hope we will. Thank you. Okay, time.